So, let's talk about Vertica. It's a database with a single, almost obsessive mission: to deliver just insane speed for big data analytics. This thing is an engine, and it's built to handle some of the absolute toughest data workloads on the entire planet.
You know that feeling, right? You click refresh on a dashboard, and sometimes, bam, the answer's right there. But other times, you're just stuck, watching that little spinning wheel, waiting and waiting. Well, that frustrating delay, that is the exact problem Vertica was born to solve.
The root of the problem is actually pretty simple. See, most traditional databases are what we call row-based. They're great for things like processing one transaction after another. But the second you ask them to scan millions or even billions of rows at once to find a pattern, well, that design becomes a huge, massive bottleneck.
And that leads us right into what you could call the billion-row problem. It's this massive challenge that really set the stage for a totally new way of thinking about database architecture.
I mean, think about it. Back in the early 2000s, businesses were starting to collect way more data than ever before. But trying to ask any kind of complex question of that data, it was a serious waiting game. We're talking about queries that could take hours, sometimes even days to finish. And that wasn't just annoying, it was a real barrier to making smart, fast decisions.
So a problem this big, it was just begging for a radical new idea. It created the perfect moment for a completely different kind of database to emerge.
And that vision came from its founder, the database pioneer Michael Stonebraker. He's a legend in this space. He realized the world didn't need yet another general-purpose database. No, what it needed was a specialist, a system engineered from the ground up specifically for those intense, read-heavy queries that analytics demands.
And that vision took off fast. Vertica was founded in 2005, and the industry quickly recognized just how powerful it was. That led to it being acquired by HP back in 2011 to be the centerpiece of their big data strategy. And later, in 2017, it became a key part of Micro Focus.
All right, so how on earth does it actually work? Let's get into the secret sauce behind Vertica's incredible performance. This is where it gets really, really cool.
The number one most important innovation here is something called columnar storage. Now think about a normal spreadsheet. Data is stored row by row, right? Vertica completely flips that on its head. It stores data in columns. So if your query only cares about, say, customer ages and their locations, the database only reads those two columns. It just ignores everything else. And that drastically, and I mean drastically, reduces the amount of data it has to scan.
And then, on top of that, Vertica gets super aggressive with data compression. Because think about it. Since every single piece of data in a column is the same type, it's all numbers or it's all text, it's way easier for an algorithm to find patterns and shrink it down. And less data on the disk means faster reads, which means faster queries. It's just a brilliant 1-2 punch.
But it's not just one thing. Vertica's speed comes from these 4 pillars, all working together in perfect sync. We've got the columnar storage and the compression, but it's also distributed, which means it can take a huge query and spread it across a whole cluster of machines to work in parallel. And it's in-memory aware, so it intelligently uses that super fast RAM to make queries even faster. The entire architecture is just obsessed with performance.
So what's the result of all this tech? I mean, we are not talking about a small speed bump here. We're talking about the ability to sift through billions of rows and get an answer back in under a second. That is a total game changer.
Okay, so it's crazy fast, but all that speed is useless if you don't have the right tools, right? So how do you actually go from all that raw data to getting real usable insights?
This is where Vertica really shines for data teams. You get to use the standard SQL that you already know, but it's supercharged with all these advanced functions. You can run machine learning models right inside the database itself. No more moving these massive data sets around. And it just plays nicely with the whole modern data ecosystem, like Kafka and Spark.
So who's actually using this kind of power? Well, it's absolutely mission-critical for industries that depend on instant answers from huge amounts of data. We're talking about telecom companies analyzing call records, financial firms modeling risk in real time, retailers powering live dashboards. These are the places where Vertica's speed gives them a serious edge.
But what about today? You know, in a world that's dominated by these big cloud-native data warehouses, where does a specialized engine like Vertica actually fit in?
Well, it really comes down to a different philosophy. Modern cloud warehouses like Snowflake or BigQuery are all about ease of use. They give you this incredible, fully managed, cloud-only package.
Vertica, on the other hand, is all about choice and control. It's built for those teams who need to deploy anywhere, on their own servers, in the cloud, in a container, you name it, and who want to tune that system for absolute maximum performance.
So to kind of sum it up, Vertica's edge today is crystal clear. It's about that raw, no-compromise performance, especially at a massive scale. It's about having the flexibility to run your analytics wherever you need them. And it's about having this powerful set of advanced tools, like machine learning, built right into the core of the engine.
And all of this leaves us with one big final thought. As the data world keeps moving towards these managed cloud services that are all about simplicity, does a specialized, high-octane engine like Vertica still have a critical role to play? Well, for the most demanding, most mission-critical data challenges out there, the answer seems to be a resounding yes.